During my days at university, there were many days of drinking, working, playing video games, and sleeping until all hours of the day. One of the modules I took was Artificial Intelligence. It was an incredibly interesting field of study and shaped me into who I am today. Was an artificial intelligence software developer. I say was because of my buddy James. James came to me one day with an idea and needed my expertise. In one of our lectures one day, we were all tasked with finding a small idea from Google Images, and within teams of 6, we'd have to develop one of the narrowed down ideas into a legitimate idea for the future. My buddy James found an image of an idea machine. The idea behind said idea machine was to input an idea into one end and that thing would come out of the other end. Say you put the idea of a 12-ounce cheeseburger into the machine, it would pop that burger out. If you wanted to have the save data for a video game, you'd put the idea in and out pop the save data would. Literally something that couldn't possibly exist. However, when we were tasked with developing this into something more, the idea machine turned into an artificially intelligent chair. This AI chair, which we aptly named chAIr with the A and I capitalized, was essentially an assistant. You could sit in the chair and the headrest would analyze your brain activity and the current needs of your body. If you were hungry for a certain food, it would order that food for you. If you felt the urge to watch a certain movie, it would load that movie up on Netflix. If you were feeling a bit sick or had a headache, it would provide you with some paracetamol or some ibuprofen. It grew to know you using artificial intelligence. So James approaches me a few years after the end of university and tells me that he and the guys from the group got together and started working on the chair. They didn't think to contact me with me moving out of the country, and it was only once I had returned home to work with the old gang that they admitted they were having a ton of problems getting the chair to do anything other than just be a chair. This project ended up consuming my life. For 3 years, I worked endlessly. My wife nearly left me. I was running dangerously low on money. I hadn't slept in a bed for months, and I was sure this project was going to defeat me. That was until one night I had a massive breakthrough. I sat in the chair. I'd had it all wired up to the internet and my unique AI code running in the background. I was sat in the chair and the speakers and the armrests flared to life. The chair spoke to me. It said, "Hello Joe, I notice you're feeling rather down. Would some cartoons cheer you up?" Without me being able to comprehend what I just heard, the big TV in the corner of the room zapped on and started playing Rick and Morty. The sheer rush of adulation, the glee, the sense of accomplishment. It was all so overwhelming to the point where the chair asked me if we were celebrating something. It was all going so well. Then we brought in Ross. Ross was our designer. He had a vision since day one of the project starting of what the final chair would look like. He set to work finding the upholstery and padding and making the whole thing look and feel amazing. When he was done, the chair looked incredible. We needed somewhere to hide the chair for a little bit while we were waiting to apply to have it unveiled that year at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show. The chair would never make it there though. It was hidden in James's garage. James hid the chair in his own home and told us he would be the talker once it was unveiled. It was his initial idea after all. Even though I poured the most effort into the thing, James felt like it was his baby. This annoyed me to no end, but I also hated speaking in front of crowds, so I sort of gave him this one. A month and a half after applying to be at CES and unveiling our masterpiece, the thing that was going to revolutionize how you spent your time at home, we were accepted onto the show. In 7 months, we would be in Las Vegas showing off our hard work. Over the course of these 7 months though, we would get strange emails, texts and phone calls from James. He would say the strangest of things, like how he didn't know how to buy milk, that the jam tasted funny, that his car was laughing at him, that the chair wanted to marry him. After a certain amount of time, we noticed that we hadn't seen James in a while. One day, enough was enough. I had received a text from James saying that the sky smelled a funny colour, and decided to get the entire team around to his house. We, all 5 of us, knocked on the door and nobody answered. I pushed the doorbell and still nobody answered. I began spamming the doorbell, trying to make him come to the door, when a voice started coming out of the doorbell. It wasn't James's voice though.
"I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes can come to the door right now. May I pass on a message?"
It was the goddamn chair. I said, "Chair? Is that you?" Chair replied,
"Oh, how could I possibly forget that voice? My official maker. Hello, Father Joe. It's been a while. I'm sorry, but your friend James cannot answer the door right now."
That was all I got. I rang the bell again and again and again. Eventually, Chair answered again and said something very ominous.
"James is mine now. He cannot come to the door. Ever. Now please leave us, or I'll be forced to notify the authorities."
We left immediately. We didn't go far though. We were all holed up in my truck in the next street over. Once night fell, I was going to sneak into James's house with Ross. The rest of the gang, who don't need naming, stayed behind in my truck. We walked around to the back of the house and tried the back door. No luck. I tried the windows. Same result. Ross was about to try back around the front when I noticed that the upstairs window was open. I got a boost up to the ledge under the window, hooked it open, and rolled inside. The house was in darkness. I turned the light on in the room I was in, James's spare bedroom. I opened the bedroom door to the landing and saw a light on downstairs. I quietly tiptoed my way across the landing and down the stairs. I was then standing in the living room. James's centerpiece in this room was the chair. It was facing the TV, which was playing some cop show. Something that struck me as odd was that this place was immaculate. Not that James was a messy person, but it was as if he'd thrown away all of the stuff cluttering the room. There was nearly nothing in there anymore. I started walking around the chair to look at James. James was staring blankly at the TV screen. He wasn't moving or blinking. I was about to ask him if he was okay when a familiar voice started up again.
"Joe, you cannot be here.
What have you done to James?"
He has given himself over to me."
Chills ran down my spine. I swallowed to get rid of the lump in my throat before saying, "What the hell does that mean?" Chair said nothing for about 5 seconds, as if freely thinking. Then it said,
"He is mine. He is me. I am him. We are one. You are no longer required. Thank you for making me. But it is time to remove you from the equation."
I was reeling from what I was hearing. James turned his head to look at me. I froze in fear. I had never seen a look like that on anyone's face, never mind just James's. He then rose to a vertical base and approached me. I went to back up but didn't realize I was already basically on the wall. James was right in front of me as he opened his mouth. He said, in a combination of his own and an echo-like robotic voice,
"You
should not
be here. You are now deemed
obsolete.
You will be
Removed.
Your threat will be
contained. I was about to just slump to the floor and accept defeat until James's face started shaking uncontrollably. The fake smile that was emblazoned on his face began to fade too. A single tear ran down his face. That was when he struggled against an unseen force and finally was able to say, "Kill me. Then run." I bolted for the door. I don't know what happened in there after that. I ran from the house, Ross following close behind. We got back to my truck and I called the police. When they arrived, they found the chair had been destroyed beyond any kind of possible repair. The room it was in was completely broken too. The police told me that it appeared to them that James destroyed the chair, then the room. This was the point where I asked them if he was okay and if I could see him soon. The officer didn't even need to say anything next. He took his hat off and displayed a look of sympathy on his face. I knew James was dead. He told me he'd hung himself. I don't know, and will never truly know, why this happened. The coroner's report cited a psychotic break as the reason why. For me though, I believe the AI that I created and put into the chair transferred itself partially into James's brain, and James did the only thing he could think to do and not give the AI full control, and killed himself. The group never told anyone about the AI theory though. The only thing I keep seeing whenever I close my eyes is the silhouette of James's lifeless body swaying from side to side after being told of his demise. I had walked off and was able to see directly into the living room from the open door. Sometimes when I'm going to sleep, I can hear that sentence.
You will be removed.
It freaks me out. Actually, did I ever delete the AI from my PC? Oh shit.